Max, I've missed you. How you doing?
Max.
I'm doing good. How you guys doing this morning?
Well,
Good.
we're struggling this morning, but we're trying to make it through. So,
Well, the team will be flying back in, I guess, today, won't they?
well, they came back yesterday, Max.
Did they? Well,
Yeah.
it's a quick turnaround, huh?
Yeah, quick
I
turn.
don't much blame them for not wanting to stay in Washington overnight.
Yeah. That's expensive.
I think that was a smart security move.
Yeah, that's an expensive place to stay, too. Max, enlighten us on Shea Patterson.
Okay.
What's going on with the situation? It sounds like Michigan's done what they need to do. It sounds like Ole Miss is kind of not really backing the kid being immediately eligible at Michigan. What do you know about it?
Well, here's the thing I think. I think that they did two things. First of all, the transfer situation. He knew going in after all the penalties came down that they were going to transfer. I don't think there was any doubt about that. I think it was 5 more of them also. The Jefferson kid went to Florida. He's running first team down there in spring. And so was Patterson at Michigan. This is what I truly believe. I think a lot of it's a lot of smoke going on trying to defend each one of them's position. But look, guys, you can't tell me Harbaugh is the second highest paid coach in the country now. Michigan's one of the top 5 programs, I think, in the country. He has not done what they have expected him to do. It's in one law. He had beat Ohio State yet first. Second is, don't tell me that a coach like that would put all the apples in a barrel and run him at first team in spring training, knowing he was not going to be eligible. I think they already been told. I don't believe he'd ever gone there, guys, unless he was going to be eligible. I think NCAA will make a decision. They're going to make him eligible, as they will the rest of them. I think probably, this is rumor, of course, we don't know this for sure, but NCAA is going to take not only what Hugh Freeze did on within the program, but his off-field activities. I think is kind of a slam on him, and I think that's what they're going to kind of, I don't want to say continue to punish the program, but that term of lack of institutional control is still floating around out there, even though they weren't tagged officially with that.
Yeah, but is Ole Miss supporting? Sounds like to me they're basically acting like they don't know why he left, and they're not really supporting him being immediately eligible.
There was a lot of things there was a lot of things entailed in getting him there, guys, and they took advantage of that, and then they up and leave. A lot of things that go on sometimes, and what you tell a kid, what you promise them, what you promise a family, and all that, that sometimes doesn't work out. We all know that. But the fact is I think Ole Miss now feels that they'd had a little more success than they thought they would. I think Matt Luke's doing a good job with it, and I think it's kind of they're in a contest to see who can be the last guy standing. And I think Patterson will play at Michigan this next year, and I believe Jefferson will play at Florida this next year.
That.
The rumor mill, I don't get much, maybe because you're not on a show anymore, but I don't get the rumor mill. What is the rumor mill if things don't go good in spring practice, that Jalen would leave? Less likely probably that Tua would leave, but is there a rumor out there that everything is going to be decided on spring training?
Well, I think so. I think it appears from everything I've heard, and I've been in touch with 2 or 3 guys, some that have actually been to practice for a short period of time, and guys have been in and out of the program. And of course, I've been good friends with Pete Jenkins all since we started coaching, and Pete is one of Coach Saban's valued advisors, I think, when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. And I think from everything anybody knows, let me clarify that they know, is that they're going to go through spring and see. It appears right now, Coach, that they're going to try to work a situation where both get playing time, whether it be a package for both, whether it be Hurts when Tua is the quarterback, Hurts is a H-back or a wide receiver. They're going to try to get the playing time, and that's the best of all worlds, I believe. Now, where both kids will be satisfied with that, I don't know, but it was heavily rumored. I called the Hoover-Thompson game twice this past year. One on statewide TV at the end of the season, and the fact was, at that time, it was rumored that if Tua didn't play, they were headed with Chip Kelly to UCLA.
Yeah,
both of them were. Both kids were. But all that got blown away, obviously, with the championship game and in the win and the comeback he had. So I think it may. I really believe it's settled in their minds, but I don't know whether the people on the perimeter think it's settled or not. And some of those rumors are still floating around.
Max, because you know football, how good is Tulia Tagovailoa? You called 2 of his games. They say he's maybe 5'11". So how is this kid an elite quarterback?
He was 11. He was 11th grader. He was a junior this year.
Yeah.
What I saw was that he was an outstanding high school quarterback, but to me, he's not big enough to play in the SEC right now. He may grow. He's about 5'11", about 175, 180. Got great skills and all that, but he's not strong enough to escape a rush if it's in the wrap up. I just saw that he needs that. I'm gonna tell you, he's notably, because of his brother, is going to be the number 1 high school player in America this next year. Notably, I'm not saying statistically, but I'm saying he's going to get that much publicity. I've been already in the Thompson program a couple of times this summer, and they're preparing for that right now. They think that he'll draw a lot of interest, and for everything we've read, he's topped on Alabama's request list for the next quarterback to be there, and that's reasonably to be understood. But the fact is, he needs to grow. He's got to get on a good weight program, and I think Mark Fleming will put him on a good program at the high school level over there. But I didn't see, watching him 2 games again. The first game against Hoover, he did very, very well. They win that ball game. The second ball game, Thompson won him in the game, guys. I'm telling you, Hoover just manhandled him from the line of scrimmage to every position there. So that's what made me. I paid very close attention to the way he played in his skill set. And again, he's very well. He understands the system. He throws the ball well, but he's just not quite big enough yet.
Wait, in that statement you said, which I know you don't want to overblow him. You're not saying he should be the number 1 player in the country. You're saying that's what.
No, I think he's going to draw that kind of publicity, though.
Right, but you're saying he is right now. You don't even think he's an SEC winning quarterback.
Right. That's my opinion of what I saw at the end of the season last year.
Yeah.
Paul Bryant's grandson, would
Right.
he have been signed had he not been Paul Bryant's grandson?
I think he would, Coach. He's a talented kid.
Okay.
I've seen some clips on him. He's a tall kid. He's a big kid.
Okay.
I think they got one there, and I think he's very coachable and certainly has all the credentials.
Okay, good. Good. I know Mark real well, his dad, and that's great. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I truly believe that. I think, I think it's kind of like some other families that have had kids come along. Some, get there on their name and their family lineage and that kind of thing. But, what's a bonus if they have that and can play too? I think that's the.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah,
that's true with him.
Great.
Looking in the SEC West, is there anybody, Max? I mean, Alabama's schedule sets up. They got Auburn here. They do have to go to LSU, but I mean, they open up with Louisville.
That's a yawner.
They're a 31-point favorite. People are tired of me talking about the schedule, but I look at Alabama's schedule. Who's going to beat them, Max?
Nobody right now. That I'm going to tell you. I watched the first 4 games this past weekend on spring, and it's you can't tell about the scheme and system and all that, but you talk about the individual players. I made a comment to my Auburn buddies. I said, right now, what I saw at Auburn, they need to punt on first down and play defense because that's
no offense,
by far their strong point. I think that'll be Alabama's biggest challenge. Auburn's defense is going to be as good as it was last year, maybe better. Their front four is 6'5", 280 all across. Their corners, both of them are 4'2" guys with 40-inch verticals. So that's Deion Sanders' talent, guys. I'm gonna tell you, and they can play now. They got to be coached. Don't get me wrong, but you got to start with some kind of talent and athletic ability back there, particularly the corners in the SEC, because people are gonna throw the ball on you. But I think that's by far their biggest challenge. We hadn't seen Texas A&M yet. I hadn't seen LSU, and on the other side, I hadn't seen. I was impressed with South Carolina. I'll be honest with you. Here's a stat that was thrown out Saturday. Of course, they played the week before, but they played the game. They televised the game on Saturday or ran it. Will Muschamp won 9 ball games last year. Beat Michigan in the bowl. You know how many scholarship players he played with?
How many?
59
Wow.
out of 85. they had that bunch that played, the top 25 or 30 played both ways the whole ball game. And I was amazed at that. I think they had clips during the game, or I had seen some clips before the game of about last year's team. Sweeney didn't play, the return guy, but I was impressed. I think they got a chance, really, on in the East to do something. Tennessee's not going to be back. Florida's going to be better than they were. Georgia will win it, I think. But I think South Carolina will upset somebody along the way.
Well, Georgia is the team that I picked last year, and the two people that I'm talking to did not pick them.
No, I did not. No, I did not.
This year, everybody's going to be fired up about Georgia. I think they could be a disappointment. And the reason I think that is they lost too many people.
I absolutely agree. And let me tell you something nobody's paying a lot of attention to. The Florida program's going to be improved tremendously. I've said this before to you. Dan Mullen, even though coming out of Mississippi State, recruited extremely well to get them to start, and that's a hard thing to do. He's sitting in one of the top recruiting states in America at the state university there, and he's a good football coach. I think that's going to be the surprise team, I think. And I don't know where they can beat Georgia yet. I don't know if they got enough talent. But McElwain let that program bottom out. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Muschamp did a pretty good job on the defensive side, but recruited no offensive players. And basically, McElwain just continued on with that same process and just lived off of Will's recruiting base. But I think from everything you've seen, and they're of course pushing for a record crowd there. And I think they'll probably get that when they have the spring game. But I tend to agree with that. Here's the thing that that just sticks in my craw more than anything about the Georgia game with all the hype. The fact is that Kirby Smart is a defensive coach. Mel Tucker is a defensive back coach. And what beat him in the game was mistakes in the secondary. The kid on the free safety kid on the out pattern bit on it, and he come running up, and the wide receiver ran right by him, and Tua laid it in his hands and won the ball game. The little things like that at the championship level is what you can't afford to do if you're going to win championships, and Georgia did. And maybe they'll be better at that this next year. I'd like to think so, just for the strength of the program. But when you start looking at mistakes in a championship game, and then trace it back to whose fault it is, there's a head guy and the top defensive guy.
What about before we let you go, Mississippi State? They've signed some guys, and I heard the guy interviewed the other day. He's sounded really sharp. What about them?
Coach, he is. I think that here's the thing: is it going to be a communication situation? They returned 18 starters. Fitzgerald's going to be okay. I think the quarterback. He's out. He tore his ankle up in the Ole Miss game, but evidently he's rehabbing very well. Everybody's excited about him. But when you have a whole staff transition like that, you're going to have some miscommunication on the sideline. I've seen it years and years. The first year, so I think they're going to be back at 7, 8 wins. They might get 9 again. Their talent level is going to be okay. They've recruited fairly, but it got started late. And when you bring in guys that aren't, how to say this politically correct, when your communication level is not in the same arena with your prospects, and I had a hard time thinking the guys he brought in from New York, Pennsylvania could talk to those kids in the Delta. I think therein lies could be a problem for them. Talent-wise, I think they're going to be pretty good.
You bring a guy up east, he goes in one of the little towns in Mississippi. That's a whole that's a whole other language.
Now he did hire a couple. He hired Husband back. That was at Louisiana, Lafayette. Brought him in, and he left there to get that head job. After he was dismissed, he brought him back to head up the recruiting, and I think they did a pretty good job. And he's a Southern guy. Coached at North Alabama, coached at Mississippi State, and then now he's back at Mississippi State. So I think that helped them as far as the identity with the program. But I think they had the work cut out for them, and I think they've had a couple of injuries. They lost their top defensive back walked off the other day, and he had some academic problems anyway. But he was an all-conference player, the Bryant kid. So I think there's some indicators right there that things might not be quite as good as expected.
Max, before we let you go, can Chad Morris, I saw him, can he move the needle over there in Arkansas?
Well, I hear different stories. I talked to my buddy that does the coverage for that program every 2 or 3 days, and the people are excited about it. But I listened to Coach Morris's pregame talk and during the game, but what he said and what I saw on the field didn't match. I mean, it just didn't.
Never has.
I think John Chavis was an upgrade on the defensive side. I think that'll be better. I can promise you, none of those quarterbacks that played, if you watch that game, will be a starter. The kid is coming in. The kid out of Texas, a high school kid, is what they're looking for. That ran Chad Morris's system all through high school, so he understands it already. He's a big 6'4" kid. He's got good speed, and I think they'll be better. I think they're 6-16 probably this next year, but they are recruiting. They had over 1,000 high school coaches come during this spring to visit at Arkansas. Guys, that had never happened before.
1,000?
1,000 coaches, most of them out of Texas.
Max, if we could talk to the new coaches, Alabama's got a lot of new coaches over there. What would they say? Like, will they be like, man, now I see why Coach Saban's so successful? Or they say, whew, I didn't know I was signing up for all of this. Or do they even know yet what they would say?
I think it's somewhere in between. I really do. It's funny. Coach Saban loves Kevin Elko. And I just finished reading his book last night, and I understand a lot more. It's a lot clearer to me about how they handle the kids and the program and the process that they talk about. I got a much clearer vision of that now than I had. I'd kind of understood it before, but not down to the details. And I think therein lies where new coaches have to come in and make that adjustment, where you're dealing with kids now in their total outlook on everything they do, not just on the football field, but what is their attitude about going to class? What is their attitude about other people? What about their family life? That's all inclusive now, and I think that probably the coaches have a lot more responsibility, I'd say, in dealing with the kids than they have at other places.
Yeah, but they also probably look at that talent and say, wow, my schemes are going to work a lot better.
But you know what, guys, you know me, y'all been around a long time. And particularly when I coached at the high school level, I could have walked in any high school, almost on any stop I made, and found more and better talent walking the halls than there was on the football field. But there was problems. The reason those kids were walking the halls rather than on the field is that the parents had pushed them too hard. They had a bad background. The attitude wasn't right. There was a lot of other things that kept it from there. So you have to start with talent first. But then, to me, it's that mental aspect of it that you really got to hone in and keep focused during that time that they're at least in your program.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Max, it was great to talk to you this morning, man. I missed you. I missed having you on. So.
Well, we're gonna get back. I'm telling you, I'm headed out to Birmingham in just a few minutes now. We trying to get our TV thing lined up again for next year, and I'm up and down the highway. I drove 42,000 miles last year, trying to make this thing work. So I'm headed back again, and I can't wait to get back in and be back on the shows, particularly with you guys.
You need to get Dad on your TV show there, Max.
I don't need to be on TV show. They've seen my face enough.
Well, just have him call in, Max, and then don't let him actually.
That. Yeah, we have to. We branching out one of. I will tell you this: the Alabama Cable Network carried us this past year on charter in Alabama, but we're going to a different. We're creating a YouTube TV channel. And we're going to be on Facebook. We've already got about 25 Facebook pages has agreed to take the show for us this year. So we're going into these radio towns that we've got already that I've been on the air with, and trying to get them to put our show on Facebook. It's a free opportunity for them, and you can actually sell ads around it. Hopefully, to make a little money for them. And all we do is we get the numbers, and we sell off our national accounts off of the numbers. So we're totally excited about where we're going with it.
Well, Max, you heard Dad bragging to you and I about picking Georgia. That's what I have to deal with on Dad. He slipped that in on us. You heard that, right?
That's okay. That's all right. I mean, and they did well. And I thought Kirby did a remarkable job recruiting again.
Yeah.
So I'm just hoping there'll be some other teams that'll pop up. I don't see anybody in the West right now. Auburn comes as close, but I think they're still a little inconsistent. And I think Tennessee and Florida are the two teams that will have an opportunity to challenge Georgia over the next couple of years.
No, Auburn ain't got any running backs. They couldn't score if the other team stayed in the dressing room.
That's what I said. They need to punt on first down.
Yeah, right.
Play defense. You're right. That's and if Stidham goes down, they ain't got a quarterback.
Yeah, if Washington beats 21 to nothing, there'll be some howling.
Yeah, but Auburn can have like 3 seasons within a season. You think they're buried, and they'll raise up. It's crazy. All right.
What's the only consistent thing about them is their inconsistency.
47 million's the consistent thing about them.
Yeah, you're gonna laugh all the way to the bank. That take a little pressure off. Max, great hearing from you. Look forward to having you back on a regular basis. Safe travels today.
Thank you, guys.
Over to Birmingham. If you need anything in Birmingham, you give Dad a call.
I really do.
Thanks, Max.
Thank you, guys.